Hey there, Mary Farias here with 5 minutes is better than nothing of personal development. We're studying my book, How to Study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. Today was a long day of horses and escape rooms and birthday cake with Lola's 14th birthday, but I'm here with you. It's almost 8 o'clock tonight. And well, 5 minutes is better than nothing, right? So I'm on page 121 in chapter 5, Specialized Knowledge of my book, How to Study Napoleon Hill's Think and Grow Rich. He says, why go to all this trouble, do you ask? Well, for one thing, the planned presentation of this young man's application for a position clipped off no less than 10 years of time he would have required to get to where he began. And had he started at the bottom and worked his way up. This idea of starting at the bottom and working one's way up may appear to be sound, but the major objection to it is this: too many of those who begin at the bottom never manage to lift their heads high enough to be seen by opportunity. So they remain at the bottom. It should be remembered also that the outlook from the bottom is not so very bright or encouraging. It has a tendency to kill off ambition. We call it getting into a rut, which means that we accept our fate because we form the habit of a daily routine, a habit that finally becomes so strong we cease to try to throw it off. And that is another reason why it pays to start one or two steps above the bottom. By doing so, one forms the habit of looking around, of observing how others get ahead, of seeing opportunity, and of embracing it without hesitation. Dan Halpin is a splendid example of what I mean. During his college days, he was the manager of the famous 1930 National Championship Notre Dame football team when it was under the direction of Knute Rockne. Perhaps he was not inspired by the great football coach to aim high and not mistake temporary defeat for failure, just as Andrew Carnegie, the great industrial leader, inspired his young business lieutenants to set high goals for themselves. At any rate, young Halpin finished college at a mighty unfavorable time when the Depression had made jobs so scarce. So after a fling at investment banking and motion pictures, he took the first opening with a potential future he could find. Selling electrical hearing aids on a commission basis. Anyone could start in that sort of job, and Halpin knew it. But it was enough to open the door of opportunity to him. So I want to stop there today because there's a paragraph in here that Napoleon Hill just aces. He does such a great job. He says, if we start at the bottom, when we're at the bottom, the view from the bottom isn't so great, right? But if we can get ourselves into a position where we can see just a little bit better, right? If we're on top of the roof, we can see so much more than if we're in the basement, right? So what he's talking about is that when we're at the bottom, we form the habit of staying at the bottom. We form the habit of going through the daily motions, of doing the daily trivia every single day, and we get into the habit of it. Now, habit is, Robert Russell says, God's way of making good automatic in our lives. Well, habit is also God's way of making bad automatic in our lives. It depends on what we do with it. If we create good habits, we're doing great. If we're creating bad habits, we're not doing so great. And habit happens no matter what. Doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Habit is habit nature. Napoleon Hill talks a lot about habit nature in his book, Master Key to Riches. He talks about the law of cosmic habit force, and he says that this is what makes the world go around. This is the same law that causes the earth to spin and to move around the sun. This is the same law that keeps gravity in its place and it keeps us on the ground, right? It is the law that keeps the tides moving in and out. Everything works on a habitual basis. We work in a habitual basis. So we have to understand that this law of habit force is so, so strong. And when we create poor habits, we are not doing ourselves any favors. And so we get stuck in a rut, as he says, if we are at the bottom too long and that's the only view we have. So start aiming higher, start looking around for opportunity, is what he's talking about. All right, that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.